pong. Thanks.
Wow, you're close with the supplier. You play mahjong together. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Can you still be impartial at work?
After business hours are over, that's when we're friends. No longer business associates. Can't I have a mahjong game with a friend? Don't worry, I can separate business from private life, especially with mahjong winnings. Those complaints, I'll follow up on them.
Procurement procedure Shun is in charge of inviting tenders for the supermarket's flower concession, so it's a conflict of interest to play mahjong with Sam. Shun thinks that it's fine, but even if they don't see a problem, it may be perceived as a conflict of interest and even favoritism for supplier Sam to other suppliers, outsiders, and even to other colleagues in the company. It's hardly convincing. Lay down guidelines on handling conflict of interest to help staff understand the concept and any situations that would be perceived as conflict of interest. Require them to avoid any actual or potential conflict of interest and declare the conflict to the company as soon as possible in the case that it can't be avoided. After receiving such a declaration, the company should make the proper arrangements based on the circumstances, such as deploying another staff to take over the task or requiring supervisors to closely monitor the situation and properly document the actions that are taken.
I want to change the terms. After the new contract, well, I want you to give me 5% of all your revenue as a rebate.
Of course it's fine!
Hey, don't you know this is corruption? It's illegal!
As long as I found a florist for the company, it's fine. Better the devil you know. It could be worse with a new partner. Or what if I can't find a new supplier? There's so much to manage here, and there are so many complaints to handle. So it makes sense to charge a little administrative fee.
I just want to keep my business running. Am I really in a position to refuse his threat? My livelihood would really be affected. And I'm not the one accepting the cash, so it should be all right.
Prevention of Bribery Ordinance Section 9 stipulates if an employee solicits or accepts advantage without his employer's permission as an inducement or reward for doing or not doing anything related to his duties, he'll commit the offense of corrupt transaction with agents. The term advantage here refers to anything of value including gifts, employment, money, services, favors, anything like that. Shun accepted mahjong winnings and rebates from Sam as a reward for not handling the complaints against the flower concession and awarding him the new contract so that his friend Sam can continue to work at the store. So no matter how Shun rationalizes his claims of what the fee is for, it's quite clear that it's a bribe. The law also states that both offering and accepting a bribe are liable to the offense. Therefore, Sam has breached the law as well by offering rebates to Shun under such circumstances. The company should formulate a clear policy on the acceptance of advantage, including a general prohibition of accepting advantages in relation to the staff's duties, the permissible value and occasion for accepting gifts, and the reporting procedures and handling method upon acceptance, etc., with every member of staff required to follow it strictly. To help staff understand the anti-bribery law and company's policy, the company should organize regular training for the staff and remind them of the relevant guidelines before major festivals during which gifts are traditionally given, for instance, before Chinese New Year or Mid-Autumn Day. Establish a channel for comments or complaints for customers and suppliers to inquire or complain about staff's possible malpractice in order to help detect irregularities. The complaints should always be handled in strict confidence and investigated only by designated staff of the appropriate rank.
Yeah, I've got all the bids here. Hey, someone made a better offer. All right, don't worry, I'll change it. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll talk over mahjong. Sure, bye-bye.
How could your company handle the bids in such a slack way? You obviously favor Sam.
It's like I said, better the devil you know. And after adjusting his price, the company can even benefit more from the higher rental.
Shun accepted Sam's money in return for favoring the latter in the tender process, and this action is surely a corruption offense. But even if Shun didn't accept an advantage, he still may have committed an offense by tampering with the bids made to the company, possibly breaching Prevention of Bribery Ordinance Section 9, Subsection 3, using false information to deceive the employer intentionally. He may also have committed fraud. Any decisions made due to corruption will affect the quality of the product or service provided. As complaints are always lodged against Sam's flower concession, the duo's dirty dealings will surely be exposed sooner or later. Set up a fair and objective procurement system, including the procurement methods and procedures for different value purchases, the number of bids required, evaluation criteria of the bids, approving authorities, and the procedures for award of contracts, etc. The procurement process should be properly segregated, for example, sourcing suppliers, assessing quotations or tenders, placing orders, receiving goods, and certifying payments should be handled by different staff as far as practicable to prevent anyone from covering up his misdeeds. Devise a mechanism to monitor the performance of suppliers, for instance by using a performance evaluation form and collecting user feedback. Review the product and service quality of the supplier regularly and draw up procedures for handling and following up on cases of underperformance by the appropriate unit to avoid any kind of favoritism towards one supplier or another. And please do feel free to refer to the ICAC's Integrity in Procurement Road to Successful Business Training Package, as well as the Best Practice Checklist on Procurement for detailed corruption prevention measures in procurement.
And maybe the girl, too. Well, it's not my business. After all, the company's gonna take the hit, not me.
The manager seems to be close with Sam, too. Maybe he's teaming up with Sam as well. I'd better keep quiet.
Hey, wait, is that it? This is all happening because of your unconcern, so evil people can exploit the loopholes in the system!
As the shop manager, Mr. Chan failed to fulfill his duty by not providing guidance to or questioning the suspected misconduct of his subordinate, as well as not following up with the substandard goods, he's definitely responsible for the loss of business and company's reputation. Although Procurement Officer Pan may be the subordinate, it's also her duty to report the issue to the management and ask the company to follow up on it, otherwise she'll likely be dragged down by Shun and have to be responsible for the matter too. As employees of the store, both Manager Chan as well as Pan should be considerate in its operation, otherwise when customers feel unsatisfied and business is affected, they'll find themselves suffering from it too. Hence, how could they let corrupt people get away with it? The company should set up a whistleblowing system so that staff can report any misconduct or malpractice, devise a system to handle all reports fairly and cautiously, and report any suspected corruption to the ICAC at once.